With more than 130 stores nationwide, Bob Jane T-Marts is a name that most Aussies know and trust when it comes to fitting new tyres to your car. And that's why we've come here to one of their Sydney outlets to talk to franchisee Steve about tyre safety, because we take tyre safety very seriously at Drive. Steve, most people think about tyres kind of like they are behind us, just stacked up over in the corner of a warehouse somewhere. But the technology's evolved. I'm pretty passionate about tyres and tyre technology, as you would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But people think we're boring, but the technology has evolved, right, over the last 20 years or so.
Definitely. Look, people see it as a necessity more than anything else, but you know, with the later technology, you've got run flat tyres, where if you get a flat, you can keep driving. And that's a big thing. For most people who don't want to get out, they want to put their spare on and so forth. There's also four-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive market is huge now. Yeah, and it's changed in a lot of ways. There's low profile, there's wide tyres. It's incredible.
For instance, I saw a set of tyres, they've gone out now, but they were over there before, they were 13-inch on an old steel wheel, right? From an old car. You don't see that with a modern car anymore.
We struggled to buy them. We had to look far and wide to get them, but nowadays, sure. Back then they were skinny, now there's nothing like that anymore, very rare.
I think one of the crucial things, I spend a lot of time advising people on this, because people ask us, the two things they ask us about the most, which car should I buy, and then they ask us about tyres, replacement tyres. I spend a lot of time telling people to make sure you put the right tyre on your vehicle and you don't just go and throw anything on it. That's an important message, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's other factors that come into it, there's a budget and so forth, but on your high-end cars, you've really got to put what comes off it, or thereabouts. With your average type, your mum and dad type car, really, the branded tyres are well priced, and we tend to find that they sell themselves, basically.
I know it's how long is a piece of string in some instances. However, forget these sort of off-road focused tyres that are behind us. If I've got a regular small hatch, medium sedan, medium SUV, and I put a regular road tyre on it, it's a brand new tyre. If I don't drive around like a yobbo and I keep the inflation correct, which we'll get to in a minute, and I drive the car reasonably smoothly, what sort of lifespan can I expect?
Look, generally 35 to 40,000 kilometres.
Okay,
That's the sort of average I've seen in the time I've been around, which is 30 odd years. But that's what you sort of get. But provided you do your rotate, your alignment, every 6 months we sort of suggest. And you might get more, but that's the average I've seen. I
sort of generally recommend to people to rotate wheel align balance every 6 months. Is that about right?
Perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
Now we've shown the 20-cent trick into the tyre tread as a bit of an idiot's guide or a layman's guide. Is there a technical way of doing that? Do you have little gauges and measurements, or what do you look for?
We've got gauges here that we show. There's a tread wear indicator. That's the sort of main thing that we sort of go off. But we've also got little gauges we can hand out to people, which we can have a look at later on if you like. But it's more the indicator. And 1.5 mil above that is generally when you should change it.
There's a lot of things that are affected if you're driving around in your car on either completely bald or seriously worn tyres.
Yeah, 100%.
What are two of the big things, like if you had to pick two, what are the two big things that are going to be most affected if your tyres are well past their use by date?
Well, the braking. Your braking.
That's the big one, right?
That's the big one for me. And it's wet weather. It's wet weather where it's all going to come into play. In the dry, you'll get away with it. You'll sneak away with it here and there. What you'll cop then is more puncture repairs. Less tread. You'll end up picking more things and you'll get flat tyres more often. But
more issues.
That's number one. Number two is if the police catch you, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't think of that.
And then there's the insurance factor, where you have a big smash, it's your fault. Insurance company might say sorry.
If your tyres are...
If your tyres are illegal.
So it's a serious issue, right?
100%, without doubt, without question. Without question. And now, we try and put that forward to people, but it's up to them to say yes or no.
You can only do so much.
We can't control their budget. We can advise. That's our job. After that, it's in their hands.
We've talked on this episode of Drive TV about towing safety. A lot of Australians are towing, even just looking out the door of your workshop, there's a lot of
it's
trailers
quite,
going past, right? Like,
yeah,
and it's as simple
growing.
as it can be as simple as a tradie or a lawn maintenance box trailer with some gear in it, right up to a big caravan or a horse float or a race car or something like that. If you're towing and you're towing long distances, should you expect that the tyres on your tow vehicle are going to wear out a little bit quicker?
In a general sense, yes.
Okay.
But if you need to watch your tyre pressures and you need to get that right, and you need to put a high applied tyre, like with the stronger sidewall, which will allow the weight to hold better. And I think also the distribution of weight, I think, comes into play with it as well. You'll see them towing and the back's down and the front's down the other one. That's going to cause you problems. But I think if that part gets levelled out, it should increase your tyre wear.
We see, and we've always been in Australia, a market where aftermarket wheels, modifying your car by putting wheels on it, is a big thing. A lot of people do it. Now, you can come to a place like Bob Jane T-Marts and you can order a set of wheels that you guys will ensure is right for the vehicle, and you can order the correct wheels. One of the things that just annoys me is when people put stupid rims on the wrong car, the wrong size, the offset's wrong so they stick out too far. One of the current ones you see a lot, because there's so many SUVs on the road, is you buy an SUV that's got a 17 and 18 inch rim on it with a big tyre, big chunky tyre, lots of sidewall. Someone goes and puts a 22 inch rim, small sidewall, low profile tyre. You just cannot assume that that tyre on that wheel is going to allow that vehicle to do what it would have done with the standard wheels and tyres on it, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. Look, it doesn't work. Low profile and four-wheel driving, you're in trouble. You'll bend wheels, you'll split tyres, and it's just not right. I think they do it more of a look than anything else. But we certainly try and steer them in a different direction. If you want to do that, what's your driving habits? What are you doing? If you're doing a lot of forward driving, because what ends up, they end up coming back to us and saying, and it becomes they try and turn it around. So we just try and advise the right thing. And most people will sort of look at it, sit back, have another look at it and go, all right, let's meet somewhere in the middle.
Now, I don't know whether it was because my parents drummed this into me when I was a kid, and obviously, if you started driving when we did, you probably had an older car with steel wheels, old tyres. They didn't keep their pressure the same as a modern car. But my parents always said to me, check your tyres every 2 weeks.
Oh, great.
Now, I find myself saying to people now, every 2 weeks, and they say, what? What are you talking about? I don't check my tyres every 2 months. But I notice you recommend on the website every 2 weeks. So is that good advice for people?
It is, but I look at our lifestyles, right? Everyone's busy, everyone's doing this, rushing around. Realistically, I think once a month's fine.
Okay.
2 weeks is okay if you've got the if you've got the routine bit, sure. I think once a month is acceptable.
Now, one of the other things on that I'd like your insight on is, again, back in the day, you used to have that, just put 32 PSI in everything, right?
Correct.
Now, the little placard that we recommend people look at inside the car is different for every car with different loads and all that sort of stuff. Is the advice that I give to people, which is do what the manufacturer recommends, the way the manufacturer recommends it, is that the smartest advice for people?
Look, that's another terrific question. We actually put 40 in most of our tyres. Right. 38 to 40. We had a customer who went on an advanced driving course. In the car park at the advanced course, they said, okay, they checked all the pressure of all these cars. They asked him a question. Who put 40 PSI in the car? Who owns a car with 40 PSI? He stuck his hand up. He said, you're the only one that's got it right. And after he'd left here. So whether that's more of a safety factor, it could be. We find you get more kilometres out of them. And people might say it's a bit high, but we don't really get too many people complaining about it. 38, 40 seems to work.
And a lot of the manufacturers are recommending that around that sort of 36, 7, 8 now anyway, right?
But some of them, we get people, it says 26 on our door. Do you want the tyre to wear out quickly? Do you want to slide around the corner? All that sort of stuff. But
you're probably better off being a couple of PSI over than under, is that fair?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Although the heat brings it up a little bit, but that's in summer conditions.
That's what happens. I've asked a bunch of people I've spoken to at tyre shops over the years this same question, and I hate the answer that they give me, which is the majority of customers come in and say, I need new tyres for my car. And the thing you hear more than anything else is what's the cheapest.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real concern, and I think that's part of what we need to do today is we need to educate people that what you're talking about is the difference between $180 a tyre and $240 a tyre, for argument's sake, just to pick some numbers.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking there about $60 per tyre, which is $240 across the car.
Yeah.
But that's your contact patch with the road.
Yeah.
That's the last line of defence that you have as a driver, with
Correct.
your family in the car, your partner in the car.
Yeah.
So really, in the forefront of your mind, you shouldn't be thinking, what's my cheapest option here? You should be thinking, what's my best option? Is that right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Look, they'll come in with that. We want the cheapest,
Yep.
and we've got to do the good, better, best thing, and we'll go through that. And it's really your salespeople, but we try and educate them as well by saying, look, they're going to cost you X amount.
Yep.
You spend a bit more, you get this. They last longer. The last longer thing gets them. It lasts longer. It's going to handle better. It's going to last longer. You'll generally get that middle range.
When you go to a reputable tyre store, you're less likely to find rubbish tyres.
Correct.
Because, you know, we're in a Bob Jane today,
Yes.
Bob Jane T-Marts, but if you go to a reputable tyre store that's in your local town, close to where you live, they're not going to sell the stuff that you wouldn't recommend.
Definitely not. No. And even us here, we don't sell. You know, there is you've got to cater for all budgets, no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah.
There is people that want the bottom end, and if we haven't got it, they'll go somewhere else.
Sure.
And we're not in the business about losing business. We'll do whatever we can, but we'll also do it to a certain point.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
you've got to have the whole range.
Cover it
really.
across it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last question, and I think this is one a lot of people forget about. It's one of the reasons we left it till the end.
Yeah.
I check spare tyres all the time, probably because I've driven so many old cars that are unreliable.
Yeah.
And that you get a flat and then you go to put the spare on and it's flat. It's got no air in it. Do people generally forget that?
Yeah.
And they might often have an old, worn, rubbish tyre as a spare too, right?
Well, an old tyre a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But you know, all T-Marts have a policy. If you're changing 4 or 2 tyres, you'll always go to the spare,
Right.
and put the best one in the spare and so forth. You know, you should check your pressures.
It's good practice.
Oh, good, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Because if you're out in the country, we do a lot of rural driving,
Yes.
right, out in remote
Yeah,
areas.
absolutely.
And if you're out in the country and you get a flat tyre, that one that's in your boot or under the back of the car, that's all you've
That's
got.
not right. You're in a fair bit of trouble.
Yeah, okay.
But I think this is why they've introduced the space saver, because once it goes on the car, it looks ugly, it looks wrong.
It makes you...
It makes the people get the tyre fixed.
I'd never thought of that.
That's. I asked someone in Europe, it might have been in Europe or wherever it was, and that's the answer they gave me, and I went, well, that makes sense.
Does make sense.
So I think that's why this, and especially the yellow one, and it looks terrible, and it drives, the car leans to one side. That's probably the reason why they introduced them. But then you got BMW and so forth without a spare.
Did you... I know I said last question, but just on that point,
It's okay.
do you see that as an issue? I do. I think a big country like Australia where we travel big distances, I say to manufacturers all the time, put a spare tyre in the car. Don't go without a spare, even a space saver, something.
Look, I shake my head all the time and say, why didn't they just make a little bit of a hole and put something in there, anything, whether it's a space saver. Look, I've had people in the past that want to buy just a wheel and tyre and they'll take it away. If they're going away,
Put it in the boot.
Put it in the boot,
Sure.
I'll pack their stuff around. I've done it myself. Pack my stuff around it and off I've gone. Not here. Maybe in Europe, sure, there's a tyre shop around the corner, there's someone that's going to rescue you. But if you're going back to your rural stuff, I'm not so sure it's a fit. But hey, what do? You either go out and buy a separate one, come here, we'll help you.
Yeah, we'll
Darren Point. But other than that, I guess, it is what it is,
Okay, Steve, what's this here? There's some numbers in there. What are they?
So I've marked that for you.
Yep.
And this is the age of the tyre.
Right.
That I don't think a lot of people realise that they're stamped. So what you got here, you got 4 numbers.
Yep.
3908.
Yep.
Which indicates it was built in the 39th week of 2008.
So if you buy this car in 2013 and that tyre's on it, it's a 5-year-old tyre.
Correct. Whether it's bald, worn, brand new, the tyre should be changed. It goes hard and the rubber cracks.
Steve, to call this one second-hand's probably a little bit flattering.
You pass that as well.
Yep.
Correct. Look, there's your wear indicator. And when it gets really a mil and a half above that, the tyre should be changed. People go a little bit further, as you can see, but that is illegal as illegal can be.
Now, this is something I've honestly never seen. I'm not making it up. I've never seen it. You
it's
showed
right.
me this.
Yeah.
This has got foam inside it. What's
Correct.
that about?
That's to keep the tyre quiet.
Wow. So it's like noise absorption.
Noise absorption, absolutely. So
Really?
this is a Tesla tyre to
Yep.
go on a Tesla.
Yep.
And because the car's so quiet, they want the tyre to be quiet.
Yep.
You'll hear everything otherwise.
Yep.
And they put this sponge, if you want to call it.
Two real quick questions. One, does it affect balancing the tyre at all?
Not that we've seen.
Okay.
So I would have to say no.
No. And two, if I get a puncture through the tread that's repairable,
Yep.
I would imagine this is a pain in the backside for
Yeah,
whoever's
you've just
got to fix it.
cut around it
Right.
and do it that
And
way.
then
but-
replace the foam.
Yeah, yeah. But look, at the end of the day, it suits the car.
Yep.
It's made for the car, without a doubt. And you've really got to put like for like, especially on those types of cars, you know.
Now, Steve, these are one of those ugly space savers you were talking
Yes,
about.
correct.
Could be a lifesaver in the right
Yeah,
condition.
without a doubt.
I noticed these here, so forget miles per hour, but you really should pay attention to this, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
be firing off at 100 kilometres an hour on one of these.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. So, you know, I think backwards from that,
Yeah.
personally. But we also get people coming in and asking the question, does that mean I can only drive 80 kilometres?
Ah, sure.
In distance?
Yeah,
No, it's speed.
80 kilometres an hour.
And there's also a higher pressure.
Yep,
You've got to put 60 kPa in them. I think there's somewhere around here 60
Yep.
to keep it up.
Yep.
So if you've got one of these, you need to put 60 in it, or else it'll lose it. And because it's so skinny, you put on a bigger car.
yep. A lot of weight on it.
Correct.
Now, Steve, I reckon you'd see this more and more now. The more expensive wheels get, the
Yep.
more people want to have them repaired rather than buy a new one, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Simply because they are expensive.
Yep.
But this is your classic case where somebody's hit a pothole, low profile.
Yep.
They've come in for a puncture repair.
Thought they had a leak.
We've discovered there's a crack.
Right.
And not all the way, it's usually just here. Hairline, very much hairline. And we repair them rather than saving them a cost. But we do tell them, listen, you've got two choices. It's new or a repair.
And repair like that would then affect the balancing process, wouldn't it? Because you've put more weight over here, so you balance it a little bit differently.
A little bit differently, yeah. But look, it's something that...
It's a good message, though. You need to be careful when you... There's so many vehicles driving around on low-profile tyres now. You need to be careful the way you drive when you've only got...
When you've got little resistance, yeah.
Now, we've talked about low profile. This is a massive tyre, right? This is a 22,
absolutely.
I think we said.
22 inch, correct, yep.
Big tyre off going on a Range Rover.
Yes.
You've got to be aware that this, even though a Range Rover is very capable off-road, this is a road-focused tyre.
Without a doubt.
And I noticed they've also done the noise insulation on
the
that
noise
one.
absorption, Yep.
So this is low-profile tyre for a big, heavy vehicle, but don't think that you're going to cross the Simpson Desert with this on your
Absolutely
four-wheel.
not. You won't get there. You'll be stuck many a time. Yeah, you can just see that. It's more of a look.
Yeah.
They put the big wheel on.
Yep.
The car looks really good.
Yep.
It drives good.
Yep.
It works all right. It's
On the road.
Yeah. It drives really good on the road. They're not bumpy. They're not. They don't shake you out of your seat.
Yep.
But yeah, it's certainly just road and road alone.
Okay, Steve, we mentioned a tyre placard before. What is it and why is it important?
Well, tyre placard will show you A, the tyre pressures.
Yep.
And B, what recommended what the tyre size should be on the car.
As well.
Correct. I mean, you get cars that come in with the wrong tyres, wrong pressure.
Yep.
We go to that. We really don't go by their pressure.
Yep.
We tend to stick to that 38-40 we spoke about.
Yep.
But the tyre size is where you've got to get it right.